I welcome all of you to the first meeting of the Parliamentary Consultative Committee of the Ministry of Communications. We are in the midst of an information and communication revolution. This revolution is bringing about fundamental changes in every aspect of life at the national and international levels. It has also opened the prospect of India emerging as an information technology superpower. This prospect will become a reality only if we create a modern nationwide telecommunications infrastructure at the earliest. Telecommunications is also by itself an accelerator of economic growth. The telephone is no longer a luxury but an indispensable tool in every conceivable economic activity. For example, the large network of STD ISD booths established by the Department of Telecommunications in a short span, and we can see these booths even in small towns today, has immensely benefited small entrepreneurs and the common person. Experts have calculated that 1% increase in telephone density results in a 3% increase in GDP. As you would make out from the agenda notes, this information and communication revolution has unfortunately largely bypassed rural India. The National Telecom Policy of 1994 had envisaged universal access and availability of basic telecom services on demand. We are way behind achievement of this objective. The failure is most glaring in meeting the target of at least one village public telephone for each of the 6 lakhs villages in the country. More than half of these 6 lakh villages still do not have even a single telephone, in not to mention other sophisticated forms of communications. Moreover, the telephone density in such of the villages which do have a connection is very low. This should be matter of concern for all of us. My government will do not allow the rural-urban divide to get further widened because of failures in policy and implementation to meet our goal in rural telephony. My vision is to see every Indian village connected with the global village that is being created by the information and communication revolution. The failure in the area of rural telephony cannot be seen in isolation from the flaws in the National Telecom Policy of 1994 and its implementation. Today, everybody recognizes that the reforms in the telecom sector, particularly relating to investments in basic and secular services by private operators, have failed. The country cannot therefore afford any further delay in resolving the many problems in the telecom sector which my government has inherited from the past. As I have stated on several occasions, we have both the political will and the competence to unravel these notes in the most transparent manner. In doing so, we will be guided solely by national interests to which all other sectoral interests must become subordinate. As a first step, we have created a high-powered group on telecommunications under the chairmanship of Shri Jaswant Singh. It has been mandated to recommend to the government on the following. 1. Create a strong, independent and credible regulatory framework by strengthening the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. The government will move to suitably amend the TRI Act if found necessary by the group to achieve this objective. 2. To resolve all issues in the telecom sector, including the license fee structure for basic and secular operators to ensure fastest proliferation for telecom services in India, including in rural areas. As I have stated before, the government will take suitable action in this matter before the end of the year. 3. To formulate a new national telecom policy to address, among other things, the revolutionary phenomenon of the convergence of telecom, IT, media, and consumer electronics. This suggests that we may have to create a common policy and regulatory framework for telecom, broadcast, cable, internet, and other aspects of convergence. All this will require the evaluation and implementation of rational spectrum policy based on best international experience. In dealing with this important task, I have directed the group not to tinker with the issues but to come up with a fundamental and lasting solution that will both meet the needs of the country and also take into account the rapid technological changes in this dynamic sector. Otherwise, within a few years, India might once again face problems similar to the ones we are dealing with today. The solution must, among other things, address the national objective of rural telephony. We cannot expect the DOT alone to undertake this important social obligation. Private operators will have to share this responsibility and meet their targets speedily. There is also a need to use many different technologies simultaneously, especially wireless, to ensure cost-effective and rapid spread of telephones in villages and hilly areas. The solution must also result in further strengthening the Department of Telecommunications in order to successfully face the increasing competition in the coming years. There are many examples in the world where state-owned telecom organizations have become major players. I am pleased to be here at the inaugural session of the India Economic Summit organized by the World Economic Forum and the Confederation of Indian Industry. Your conference is taking place at an extraordinary moment in India's democratic history. Whatever is happening now is a sign of the vibrancy of India democracy. However, I would like to assure you that volatility in Indian politics will have to fundamental impact on the process of economic reforms in the country. The reform process has become irreversible. Indeed, my government has depoliticized the economic agenda. Your summits in the past have fostered constructive interaction between foreign and Indian business and with the government. They have also facilitated foreign business becoming familiar with India's efforts both to carry out international liberalization and to integrate itself with the global economy. Since you met here a year ago, a number of new and decisive steps have been taken by my government to strengthen our economic fundamentals and improve the productive efficiency of our system. In the schedule of your meetings over the next few days, you would be interacting with some members of my cabinet, some distinguished businessmen, economists, and senior government functionaries. They would outline for you only what has been achieved during this period, but share their vision of the economic agenda for the coming months. In the last 9 months, my government has taken important initiatives over a wide gamut of economic issues which cover insurance, capital markets, information technology, housing, and infrastructure, to mention a few. The reform process initiated is wider and deeper than any comparable program earlier. Its multiplier effect would have long-term beneficial impact on the economic and social development of India. We also take some pride and satisfaction that given the turmoil in the rest of Asia and many other parts of the world, our macroeconomic fundamentals continue to be strong. They create new opportunities for private investments, both domestic and foreign. A GDP growth of well over 5%, inflation below the double-digit number, comfortable foreign exchange reserves, positive growth in agriculture, stable exchange rate management, coupled with sectoral initiatives, have reaffirmed the government to a policy of liberalization with suitable checks and balances. I have said so earlier and would reiterate today that there is no panic to bring about high rates of economic growth here. Discussions are going on within the Bretton Woods institutions, the United Nations, and other forms of reform of the global economic architecture. We will participate constructively in this dialogue so that the emerging reform process can durably address the malaise that has adversely affected many countries. Such a reform process should help in the evolution of a new financial architecture based on transparency, symmetry of obligations, equity, effective management in the face of rapid flow of large sums of capital around the world, and orderly development of world trade for the common good of mankind. Poverty alleviation must remain the central objective of international action. We recognize that globalization is both a reality and an opportunity. We are convinced that nations cannot prosper in isolation and must forge complementary relationships based on mutuality of interests. India is committed to the continuation of its policy of liberalization coupled with effective social safety net. We will also pursue policies to maximize the gains from the opportunities which globalization offers, while ensuring that creditable mechanisms are in place to mitigate the risks that are inherent in this process. Our aim is to be a strong nation so as to be able to